Hey everyone, it's me, Doomlink, and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Link is sneezing because he's cold, and I don't really blame him, because if you look at his attire, it's not really suitable to this weather, but regardless. It's currently the 11th part for my Let's Play, and it is the 27th of March 2020 as I'm recording this, and this is actually a post-commentary. The video that you're watching here was recorded yesterday on the 26th, and I'm stupidly putting on the bunny hood here, as you can tell, to make my jumps. It's just not really appropriate, because it ends up pushing you too far, especially when you're jumping onto ice. You end up sliding too far as well. But anyway, the reason why I am traversing this area again is because I was being an idiot in the previous video. How strange is that? Doomlink being a complete idiot. What I ended up doing was, I knew that there was hot water underneath the gravestone of Darmani. It was mentioned by the Goron who had built the grave, and we did talk to him before going in there. But, stupidly, when I pushed the grave and it didn't move, I decided, oh, you can probably push it later and it'll move. You know, through some sort of condition that would have to be fulfilled. But no, actually, had I pulled it as well to confirm that that wasn't possible, I would have actually realized that it was possible. Yes, that is what needs to be done. You need to pull the gravestone, not push it. And it's quite ridiculous that I didn't even think to do that at the time. But in fact, getting the hot water is essential for continuing this quest. And unfortunately, I will have to make my way back up this thing, which is kind of frustrating. I'll have to whip out the lens of truth and actually see where I'm climbing. Yes, I do remember the general route. And actually, I wasn't too sure if the bunny hood would influence the speed of my climbing. I'm still not entirely sure whether or not it does. I think it might, but regardless, I put it on just to make sure. So, essentially what we need to do is return to the top here, pull the gravestone, get some hot water, and use it to free a frozen Goron, who is in fact the father of the child. I wrongly... Well, I didn't necessarily say it as if it was absolute fact, but my memory told me that Darmani was actually the father of the child who was screaming in Goron City. Although I don't think it's actually called Goron City in this game, it's called something else. It's like the Goron Shrine or something. It's sort of like a little place where these Gorons live. It's not as big as Goron City and Ocarina of Time, but to be honest, it's not that much smaller. So, regardless. I believe the child who is crying is actually the son of some other guy that we need to free. And he's a weird-looking, deformed Goron who is much older than he should be, considering he has such a young child. But I'm sure there's some backstory to that I'm not too aware of. You can see that there's a frozen Goron there, and we're going to rescue him first and foremost. Not that it's actually a requirement, I don't believe you get anything for rescuing that guy, but at the very least it does give you an opportunity to demonstrate to yourself, I suppose, that the hot water does work in that way. Now, one thing to mention with... it's quite a funny noise that Link makes when he's a Goron. He's like... Oh! It sounds very, I guess... what's the word that I'm looking for? Effeminate? It's not very masculine. It's not like the sort of sound that the veteran warrior Darmani would make. Oh! Just when he's pulling something, you know, you'd think he'd be going... Oh! But anyway... yes, we just got some hot water. Hot spring water. And of course, because it is hot water, when we go outside, it will cool over time. So what we're going to do to actually make life a little bit easier is to, well, first and foremost I stupidly walked into the guy, but, and this is an interesting thing, if you change target, you can actually move while you're frozen. But after I just free this guy, for the sake of it, I will actually be taking that hot water to a new location, and through melting this ice that's covering a hole, I will be given access to a hot spring that is in a different spot. The reason why it's important to do that is because, quite frankly, I don't want to have to climb this stupid thing every single time I want to get hot water. There's no way I'm doing that. So basically, there is another location, and it's quite close to where Tingle is, and when we melt the ice there, we will indeed be given that as a new location for hot spring water. So we will be doing that first and foremost. And then after that, we will be freeing the Goron and essentially learning the Goron's Lullaby. Now, I didn't actually know how to get, or rather how to learn, the Goron's Lullaby. I think it's just called Goron Lullaby, but Goron's Lullaby makes more sense to me. I don't know. Regardless, because I wasn't sure how to learn it, because I was pretty sure that I was going to learn it from Darmani. That was what my lacking memory was telling me. When Darmani didn't teach me that, my immediate thought was, well, where the hell do I learn that song? So I went ahead and looked online, and so I discovered some more things as well, like unlocking that different hot spring location and all of that business. So pretty much that is our objective here. Of course, we need to change to regular Link here, because as we demonstrated in the previous video, Gorons cannot swim, and we pretty much drowned immediately. Now, just here you can see I very nearly went headfirst into something again. In the previous video, it was very close, and in this video, it was also very close. So, there you go. We're taking the bunny hood here. I don't know why I don't just put on the Goron mask, because as I did mention before, the Goron mask is a much more efficient means of travel. It is very fast, and at least I'm pretty sure I mentioned that. I'm quite sure I would have. But yeah, you can see the ice over in the distance there. That is what we are aiming for at the moment. We need to melt that, and then we will pretty much be able to get hot water with ease. We ended up walking very close to the ice here. It's harder to control when you're going to stop when you're using the bunny hood, because you move so fast, but I managed to position myself rather well. Now, those wolfos, I really don't like them. They always howl at you, they're very noisy, and they're annoying to fight. I would much prefer it if they weren't there, to be honest. Alright, so we're getting a Deku Stick here, and we will actually need to use a Deku Stick later on to go and do a side quest. Now, I'm actually thinking of, in fact, not taking on Snowhead Temple, because as I'm recording this post-commentary, well, I sort of paused my sentence there at a strange time. The reason why there was a cut there, by the way, was because I stupidly was looking around outside the Goron City location, or the Goron home location, looking for the guy that I needed to free, but he's actually in this area, in the same place as the hole. But as I was saying before, if I can get my train of thought back, because I did just have to interrupt myself, I'll get that thought back in a moment. I just got a little bit sidetracked by what was happening on the screen. You can see the larger snowball here is indeed the one where the guy is stuck inside. Oh, that's what I was meaning to say. Actually, that was a bad impression. That was also not that great. Anyway, moving on. We're about to die. So, regardless. What I was going to say was that I'm thinking of not taking on Snowhead in this cycle. And I've decided that cycle will be my word to describe the, I guess, time frame. The time period that we're currently in that we would leave once we went back to the past. I'm going to call that a cycle. So yeah, in this cycle, I think I'm not going to actually take on Snowhead. By the end of this video, we will have done everything to actually go to Snowhead, but I'm not going to go there because I don't think that, well, I might be able to, but I don't want to run the risk of running out of time, because by the time we do get there, I think it might be late afternoon on the second day, by the time we get to Snowhead, that is, at the end of this video. So what we'll probably end up doing is doing some side quests while we're here, and one of those will actually be taking a Deku Stick and lighting all the torches in the Goron City location. I'm calling it Goron City because you know what I'm referring to, and I like to refer to it in that way. But, yeah, once we do that, we will be able to gain access to some spinning, flaming pots, and then we'll smash one of them and take some meat to one of the guys with the frog head mask thing. He's got this frog sitting on his head, and yeah, we're pretty much just going to give him some meat. And we'll be doing that in part 12, probably. And we'll try and do a number of other things in part 12 as well. I'll try and have a look online, and I might even refer to my Majora's Mask guidebook just for some fun, to see what I can do at this stage with the Goron Mask, because of course now that we do have the Goron Mask, I'm sure that we can do some more things. We can probably collect more masks, collect more pieces of heart, and things like that. So I'm going to try and do all of that with all the time that I have left in this cycle, and then at that point we will return to the first day and take on Snowhead. Of course, we have learnt the song, and we have the Goron's Mask, so there's no real problem, or rather we will have learned the Goron's Lullaby by the end of this, and then at that point we'll just be able to return to the first day, and we will have no problems taking on Snowhead in spite of the fact that we have gone back in time. As well as that, I'm actually tempted to try and get the sword upgrade, but I don't know what's required for that. As I mentioned, the mountain village is a location where you can actually upgrade your sword, but I don't really know if there are any prerequisites for that I have yet to fulfill. By the way, I'm sorry that I'm not really engaging with what's going on in the game right now. It's just that I'm not actually playing this here. So, like, I'm sitting here watching it much like you guys are. So it's difficult for me to deeply engage with the actual game when I'm not playing it, so I hope you can forgive me for that. Just to mention what's happening at the moment, we have freed this old guy and we have told him that he has some sort of task to complete here. I don't know quite what it is, but we've told him that while he's walking around here, looking to do something and getting frozen solid, his son is unable to go to sleep and is screaming the place down back in the Goron home. And believing what we've said, he goes and teaches us part of the Goron Lullaby, which is the song that he usually plays his son so that his son can fall asleep. But he's sort of half forgetting the song, half unable to play the song because of the cold, so he only teaches us the first part. And what we will be doing is playing that song to the kid, and disgustingly, the child will be teaching us the rest of the song. Why do I say disgustingly? Because the way the child teaches the song, or the kid teaches the song, is by actually singing it to us. Now, if you thought the crying was annoying, the singing is about as bad, if not worse, depending on your preferences. Like, would you rather hear a screaming child, or would you rather hear a child singing in a really weird way? Well, I'll allow you guys to decide which you would prefer. Now, one thing that I don't really like with the Goron form is that you can't really elect to not go to the next level of charge. Like, you know how you slowly build up this charge, that once it has been, how do I say, once you do reach that level of charge, you will start consuming magic and you'll go super, super fast. I'd like to be able to elect not to do that without running out of magic, because basically, in my opinion, it can be too difficult to control, especially in an area around here where I'm sort of rolling around tight turns and all of that. So what I'm actually having to do is just stop rolling entirely before I actually get to the point where I'm depleting my magic and going extremely fast. So here's an example here of going really, really quickly. I was able to more or less control it, but it can be really difficult. Here is this repulsive child that we now need to play the bongos for. Where's my daddy and all of that business? Well, guess what? You're about to get a lullaby played to you on the drums. Now, how a sequence of drum patterns can put a child to sleep, I've got no idea. I mean, maybe it does make sense. Maybe I'm being an idiot. But there's something about it, like percussion, it's not really, it doesn't promote sleep logically, at least not to me. Then again, I've definitely fallen asleep to heavy metal music on a number of occasions, so maybe I should just be silent about that. You know the worst part about this? The fact that this child doesn't sing it once, but twice. It's really awful. Now the stupid thing is that that old guy taught us pretty much 90% of the song, or 85% of the song. Like, what's going on, mate? He just needed to do right and A. That would have been the full Goron Lullaby. And now we're going to get some sort of sad cutscene of sorts. I don't really understand why it's like this, because it's not like the old guy is dead or anything. And as well as that, why is the guy so old and why does he have this young child? I'm sure there is a story around that. I mean, you've got Anju and Cafe with their age difference, and you've got this super old, deformed looking Goron with a young child. There's shit going on in this game, man. And with that, the child is falling asleep. But in fact, the song is so strong, actually, that it's not just this child who's fallen asleep. It's the entire room, as we're about to see. Once Link turns around, the lullaby intro became the Goron Lullaby. This lullaby blankets listeners in calm while making eyelids grow heavy. Yeah, hurry up, past Doomly. As you can see, all the Gorons in the room have fallen asleep. But not every single Goron in the whole place has fallen asleep. So if you see those torches there, we will be lighting them in the next video for sure. And yeah, that's going to be the plan next time. I'm just not... See how we're getting into the Well, we're not quite getting into the second day yet, but by the time we do get to Snowhead, it will be that. And certainly I think it's a little risky to suggest that I'm going to, or rather, it's a little risky to force myself to take on Snowhead and complete it 100% at the time that I have allotted for myself, because I think that the Stray Fairies are going to be a little bit difficult and a little bit more confusing in general this time around compared to the Woodfall Temple. And I'd like to do it all in one go, you know, so I'm just going to give myself a full day. Not a full day, a full 3 days, excuse me. So, yeah. And I like doing those side quests anyway. It's really fun. That's one of the things that I enjoy most about this game, just doing the side quests. Because there is a lot to do, and just that progression is something that I very much enjoy. Speaking of bombs, I do need to get some bomb bags. I'm going to see if I can do that in the next video as well. Of course, I'm talking more about part 12 than I'm talking about part 11, and we're currently in part 11. But again, it's actually, as I'm speaking, the next video that I'll be recording, so I may as well give you guys a taste of what to expect in the next video, and I won't actually be doing a post-commentary that time, at least hopefully not. I'm just looking around to see if there's anything that I can do. I actually wasn't too sure what I needed to do after getting the Goron Lullaby, because I had actually forgotten what to do with the Goron Lullaby. What we actually do is we head over to Snowhead, and there is an invisible Goron who is causing that weird blizzard that's sort of blowing from Snowhead. So what we do is we play the Goron Lullaby, and we put the Goron to sleep. That way we can actually access Snowhead. So therefore you do require the... Oh, see, we're at a point now. I was about to say we're at a point now where we won't be getting our charge up properly because we were out of magic, but now we are indeed getting our charge up properly. But yeah, so what I was going to say was that indeed the Goron Lullaby is a requirement for pretty much continuing through the game. And therefore, getting hot water is a requirement for continuing through the game, because you can't get the Goron's Lullaby without getting some hot water. So there you go. Now, as far as the sword upgrade, I will definitely check that out in the next video, but I have a feeling that you won't be able to do it until you've completed the second dungeon. But that may actually not be the case, because technically, a dungeon can only be completed so if you reset the cycle, the dungeon will not be complete, but you will have the mask to prove the dungeon has been complete. So as far as the state of the game is concerned, you won't actually have a complete dungeon if you return to the first day and start doing the sword upgrade. So that would indicate to me that you actually don't need to complete the dungeon to get the sword upgrade. So I'll have a look and see what's needed. We definitely have enough money for it at the very least, because we have deposited a shit ton of money into the bank or the beggar storage stock, I don't know, however you want to refer to it. But at the moment we are just taking the journey to Snowhead, and there will actually be an owl statue in this direction. And once we do get that owl statue, I will be going ahead and hitting that owl statue, and that will pretty much be the end of the video. And again, in the next video we will probably not take care of Snowhead in the way that I was describing before, where we put on the Lens of Truth, see that there's a Goron, and put the Goron to sleep and actually take on Snowhead. What is the time here? Oh, actually, it's not too bad. I was thinking that it was getting towards the end of the first day, but we're about halfway through, so maybe I'll leave all that stuff I was talking about for after Snowhead, because I think I've got plenty of time to complete Snowhead. I was thinking that it was not going to be as good. Oh, I do have an empty bottle here that I can spare for that fairy, so I'm glad I'm putting my my thoughts to work and actually getting the thing. There we go, you caught a fairy in a bottle. I think they called it your new friend. It's not really your new friend, you've gone and imprisoned the thing, but I guess that's going to draw into question the whole plot of Pokemon if I say things like that. But anyway, with that, I think we're going to complete this video, or conclude this video rather. That's not the first time today I've said complete instead of conclude, actually. But anyway, not in this recording, but in a different recording. Regardless, I do thank you all for watching. This has once again been Majora's Mask Part 11, or Let's Play Majora's Mask Part 11 more specifically. And I will see you guys in Part 12, where we well, probably take on Snowhead. I was talking about how I probably wasn't going to do that, but actually, I think we might. At the very least, you now know what I'm going to be doing after this, or rather after Snowhead, so regardless. I will see you guys in part 12, and I hope you enjoyed this one, in spite of the fact that it's a post-commentary and I wasn't really fully engaging in what was going on the screen. But, yeah. I hope you enjoyed regardless, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.